Good day, everyone. This is Ruinata, and today I'm going to share with you a short story written by a Filipino author named Jose Claudio B. Guerrero. It is entitled Essence. So for you to have an idea, Essence is a unique story about two old friends. The characters are not typical because they are both gay. And now, let's begin. We had just finished lunch in a small cave along Katipunan Road. 2 cups of streamy brew enveloped in our table in a delicious aroma. So where did you meet? I asked my friend Patrick as he put down his coffee cup. In the faculty center in UP. Again? How come you met a lot of guys there? I'm always there and nothing ever happens. Patrick pointed to his face and smiled. Che, I replied laughing. But I knew it was true. Patrick was not really that good looking, but he had a sexy air about him, and he had a fair skin, which is for most Filipino a prerequisite for beauty. So anyway, I was washing my face in the ground floor washroom. When it comes to this really cute guy, I've seen him in the campus a few times before. So anyways, he goes and take a lick. Patrick posed, you know those FC unitals, right? I nodded, no partition. Patrick took another sip from his cup and continued. So anyways, this guy seemed checking him out. To my surprise, he turns to me giving full view of him in all glory and smile. I smiled back and Patrick took a deep breath. The rest is for me alone to know. I knew pressing Patrick for more details would shut him up like that, so let it pass. I could diddle all the details later. So what is his name? Carlo. I raised an eyebrow and gave him Patrick my "you have to be kidding" look. He laughed and I nodded in agreement. Yes, it's another Carlo, Paulo, Mark, RJ. So what name did you use? I asked him, cutting him short. My favorite, Paulo. We both laughed. Enough for me. Tell me about yourself. It's been what? A month since we talked? More like 3 weeks. I answered as I motioned to a waiter for a cake menu. Oh no, you're ordering cake? Why? You order cake when you're depressed. No, I don't, and anyways, I'm not depressed. This time, the waiter arrived with a cake menu. After giving our orders, Patrick continued pressing me for news. I told you I led a boring life. I'm sure, answered Patrick mischievously. So how's your Chinese boyfriend? Patrick's question caught me off guard as I sipped from my cup. I snorted and felt coffee go up in my nose. We both started laughing. He's not Chinese, I answered when I had recovered. He's Korean and he's not my boyfriend, excuse me? I'm his tutor. I'm sure, said Patrick, needling me. And what are you chattering him? English. I'm sure. Oh God, here's the cake. As I dug fork in my cake-rich cream cheese, I happened to look at the mirror and I saw the cake doors open. A dainty, fair-skinned guy walked in. Oh my God, I froze. Patrick saw the expression in my face and looked around for what it caused it. Finding it said, don't tell me you're still crazy over Mark. No, I'm not. It's just that... Well, what? Asked Patrick, his eyes suddenly alive with curiosity. It's, I answered. My eyes told him the rest. No, he answered, not wanting to believe it. I smiled. When? 2 weeks ago. Why didn't you tell me? You're always busy. Well, I'm not busy anymore. Tell me everything. Patrick leaned over to me, forgetting all about his cake. It's not every day your best friend loses his virginity. It happened 2 weeks ago. Our teacher dismissed us early, so I was walking in the AS parking lot looking for my driver. It was already dark and only few cars were left. Well, one of the cars was his. He smiled at me and asked me what time it was. I paused and took a bite from my cake. And what happened next is for me alone to know, I replied, mimicking him. Don't do this to me. Tell me. I have to know. I won't be able to sleep. Patrick begged. Noticing his unused fork, he grabbed it. Tell me or I'll stab you with this. Just then, Mark passed, so he hurriedly lowered his fork. He looked conscious. Maybe he suspected you have told me. I just smiled. I I know some guys who are like that. Once something has happened between you, they suddenly feel awkward when you're around. Eventually, you end up avoiding each other. Patrick studied his cake for a while, then started eating. After some time, he spoke. "I'm so happy for you," he said, smiling as he grabbed my hand and shook it warmly. I remember all those days we sat here eating cake and talking about your to-die-for classmate Mark. Mark and his cologne, Mark and his new cologne, Mark and his new cut, Mark and his burned-out cigarette butt. Boy, I'm glad those days are over. He laughed, I smiled. It is really true that you took puff from his cigarette butt? My ears read and I nodded. Whatever he touched, he lived an essence. When I take a puff from his cigarette butt, our essence melt. We became one. I hastened to explain. It's like we've shared something like a bond. Patrick gave me a pretty look. At least you don't have to do that anymore. I smiled and mashed the blueberries on my face. We finished our cakes as we update each other's what was happening to our high school barkada. As we waited for our change, Mark stood up to leave and finally noticed us. He smiled and went out. Patrick pinched me as I smiled back, my ears burning. Patrick dropped me off at the faculty center after lunch and rushed to the theater for rehearsal. Having 30 minutes to waste before my next class, I decided to go to the FC washroom and tidy up. The faint scent of detergent, cigarette smoke, and stale urine greeted me as I opened the door. As I expected, the washroom was deserted. I stood in the front of the mirror and took out tissue from my bag. As I daubed moistened tissue on my face, the washroom door opened and the woody cologne scent wafted in. It was Mark. He went straight to the urinals. I pretended not to notice him. When he finished peeing, he joined me by the mirror, washed his hands, and then straightened his shirt collar as he looked at his reflection. He saw me watching him and smiled. "It's you again." I smiled back and offered him a tissue. He declined and left. When the door closed, I hurried to the urinals. I unbuttoned my fly and peed. I looked down and watched my pale yellow fluid, a bit darker and frothy against the white porcelain. As I watched the fluid mix, the color getting more and more difficult to distinguish, until finally no difference could be seen. A warm, pleasurable sensation from within me slowly surged. Pleasurable sensation from growing more and more powerful, until finally shuddered of ecstasy rocked my still untouched body. So that would be all. Thank you for listening. Take care and God bless. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye-bye.